Hi there, everybody. Welcome to today's adventure. We are in very noisy Atlanta at one of my favorite places in the world, the Center for Puppetry Arts. This place blew my mind as a kid because it was the only place in the world you could actually go and see a real Muppet. Since then, they have expanded. The Henson Company donated something like 750 puppets and props and things from all of their productions over the years. And now they've got this huge wing that is just Muppets.
Big Bird lives here.
We come 2 or 3 times a year because they rotate out all sorts of cool things. Getting to see puppets really up close where you can see all those nerdy little details that people like me love so much. So we are gonna mask up and head inside. So there's 2 cool areas in here. There's the World of Puppetry, which has 2 wings, and there's a special gallery. They rotate pretty regularly. Right now, it's for Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. So there's some cool new stuff in there, but I'm way too excited to go see Kermit. So that's the way we're going now. 12-year-old Avery would have wanted one of those in his bedroom and not have thought it was weird at all. In the first little area here, it's all about the original Muppets from the 50s, back when Jim and his not-yet wife Jane would do a 5-minute show on local TV. Kermit was kind of in there, but a lot of the characters looked very different. This is a character called Omar, who was part of that original local show in Washington, D.C., and that is what my sleep paralysis demon looks like. Around the corner here is a great recreation of Jim Henson's office with so many little knickknacks, including this moose that he bought as a gift for someone, but liked so much he decided to keep and hang in his office himself.
It's my favorite thing from the Muppet Show, the Jawas.
Over here is a section about all of the great commercials and things that they used to do back in the 50s and 60s to help fund everything else. Things like coffee and RC Cola, you name it, they advertised it. This way is my very favorite room in the whole museum, the recreation of the workshop. It is amazing to me the amount of time and work they would put into things that were for one joke in one episode of the Muppet Show. Like this guy right here. This is an amoeba that looks like Fozzie Bear. Not only is it amazing that they build it, it's amazing that it still exists.
There's a little mouse.
They are hanging all over.
Was that like a thing?
Do you know why? The actual workshop had mice, and rather than killing them, they built pulleys and tunnels and tubes and things so they could run around the workshop.
Did they catch them and get them their vaccines?
I don't know about that. Something that little Avery and now Avery have in common is that I love dog puppets. This guy is a beauty. This guy was from a series called The Storyteller, and he's a very elaborate puppet. I have the most respect for anyone who can get a convincing performance out of something remote control, because it was a very difficult learning curve for me on the second Goosebumps with those slappy puppets.
This is Brad. Of Ernie and Brad. He is a childhood icon.
And I think this is what your sleep paralysis demon looks like. And right around the corner is 123 Sesame. One of the things that has consistently blown my mind every time I get to see an actual Muppet in person is how small they are. On screen, you feel like they're so much bigger. There is one puppet that is bigger than I imagined. This guy.
I'm 5'10". They don't even have him on a platform.
We like to say that the only people taller than Audrey are Chewbacca and Big Bird. These 2 hang out in the same case over here because they were both performed by the same gentleman, Carol Spinney. Carol Spinney did pass away a few years ago, but I was lucky enough to meet him twice. Sesame Street Cowboys and Sesame Street Horses make us exceptionally angry. I won't tell you why, but those who know. Something that is so great about these museum exhibits is being able to get this close to the puppets and see things like the tiny little screws that hold Cookie Monster's pupils on, which is why they spin around and go all googly. You can't see it on TV, you can only see it up close and personal. It's right behind me, isn't it?
I wanted to make Avery a jacket, a Muppet Show jacket, but there are no photos of the back of his jacket. There's only pictures of the crew jacket that's different. Now I have pictures.
These guys were the first two Muppets I ever saw. These were the only two they had when I started coming back in the day, and I spent so much time looking at all the little details. Like, the logos are just made out of felt with drawn on Sharpie. And Julius's eyes are these little beads that are kind of like disco balls. They have all these edges, and so when they catch the light, it looks so good. These nightmares are from a pilot for the Muppet Show called The Muppet Show Sex and Violence. This is 4 of the 7 deadly sins. They're all just exposed foam. Most of the puppets have this type of foam on the inside with the fabric covering over the top. These guys are just painted and exposed foam. So the fact that they still exist is also a miracle.
I aspire to look this good once in my life. Just for a single day. I want to be that fabulous.
Don't you hate to be this guy? Nobody ever comes to see Ron Bohr. Sorry, but come on. I told you I love dogs. Sprocket is like the quintessential epitome of Muppet dogs. I'm terribly excited to see the new Fraggle Rock reboot that they're doing for HBO. So I am actively working on finishing a Wembley puppet of my own. So I'm very excited that he is here so we can see him up close.
He's got a hood on the back of his little shirt. Also, the print is staining and bleeding on the front of his little shirt.
Did somebody do his pattern by hand?
I don't think so, but there's a lot of inconsistency. It's probably screen printed like in-house or something.
That's cool. They rotate out this Fraggle Rock section pretty regularly with different doozer cars and creatures from inside the rock. There's also great parts of this exhibit dedicated to the labyrinth, to Dark Crystal. These aren't quite my cup of tea, but it's still great to look at them up close. So clearly I could stay all day and geek about every little thing. It's not just the Henson stuff. They've got a whole other wing that's the global collection where they have different styles of puppets and different kinds of puppets from all over the world. Some of them, I don't know what that is. Anyway, if you are looking for something interesting in Atlanta, the Center for Puppetry Arts is a cool place to hang out. I've been coming for years. I love it, clearly. That is all for today's adventure. Thanks for hanging out while I geek out, and we will see you on the next adventure.